terminology. One of the significant terminology which is actually important in a machine learning is a feature extraction, which is very much important. And then we have some model description or a model development depends upon the algorithm used to develop the model. What are the learning scheme we are going to use? What are the possible pre-processing phenomena? What are the data size and the data providing to the system? All these factors basically combined in a single place, then you will have a system called machine learning system. So basically these are the combinational effect or a protocol which is used to develop any machine learning strategy. So machine learning strategies basically depends upon the different steps, and these steps are very much important to develop a system which is or which have a capability to learn. As far as the basic machine learning structure is concerned, because I've already told you we have a different structures which is being combined to develop some machine learning algorithm. It means we should have some level of the learning, and level of the learning depends upon the training, how much data we have, and the acquisition or a knowledge acquisition of knowledge we have, how much skills we have, what are the competence we have to actually teach the system to retrieve the significance information or the feature from the data sample provided to the system. So we have discussed this thing in the first lecture as well. Whenever we talk about the machine learning, data, algorithms, development or learning models, these are the factors which is actually relate to the machine learning, especially feature extraction as well. So you have four different steps whenever the basic learning structure is defined. First, you have to take the sample of the data. Then you have to perform some pre-processing in which you have to remove the noise or whatever you can say. If you do not have any noise in the data, you are directly retrieve the information or a data sample of the previous observation from the reasonable source. So definitely no need to go for pre-processing. But definitely as far as the step analysis is concerned, we have some data sample. Then we have to perform some pre-processing, and after performing the pre-processing, we have to extract the features. Feature extraction or feature selection is another school of thought. We will discuss in detail, inshallah, what are the baseline. On the basis of that, we have to go for either extraction or selection. These are the two different strategy which may use depends upon the scenario and the problem given to you. Then after extracting the feature, the algorithm will actually use in combination with the data and the feature which is being extracted from the data samples. And then you have to have some model or a learning model. So the model will be developed, and that model is basically the used to test the sample which is being provided at the end. It means that this is the level of learning or a training. In this level, we have further categorized the learning into two way. In any machine learning system, we have two way or a two level of learning. One is called a training, or second is a testing. So machine learning is basically depends upon the training structure testing, because we have already discussed in a conventional programming, we do not have any feature or a capability of training or testing. But here in a learning is based on that training. Similarly, the same way as let's suppose if we want to learn something, definitely we have to first start the things and observing the thing and read the thing, then we have a capability to understand. So we work with the system and we start any new system with their learning capability. So we have a learning capability as a student, you have a learning capability, and with the passage of time, whenever you will improve the learning capability with some related information to that system, then you start learning related to that system. That is basically phenomena called training. So you are actually train yourself by learning or extracting the information which is being related to that particular system. Similarly, here we have a machine learning system in which you provide the information in terms of the data samples and previous observation, definitely, and the system start learning. And to learn the system wants some basic parameter. It wants a feature which relates to the data sample, and secondly the algorithm, a specific algorithm or algorithm depends upon the scenario and condition, which helps to learn the system in this way. And by the help of these factors, the system will be able to develop a model, and that model will be used in your application. This is the simplest way. But the phenomena which I'm discussing with you, in which you are providing the sample to learn the system, is a training phase. So every machine learning is having a very strong training phase, and training phase is very much important because whenever you have a good examples or a data with you, you have a good training samples with you, then your system will be trained enough, and it would be very much useful for you whenever you will go for the testing. That's why we divide the learning into different levels, and one of the significant level in training in which you are acquiring the data and the system will start learning to that data in different way. And definitely this way of learning is changing from application to application. We cannot say directly this way is only dedicated to this application. It totally depends upon the scenario, structure and design. On the basis of that, the problem is related. So whenever your problem is changes, definitely your criteria of training, your criteria of testing, your criteria of data collection, or you may call it as a knowledge acquisition, is different. Totally depends upon the problem or a scenario which is given to you. This is basically the training phenomena. I've already discussed with you. This is called training. Training is one of the significant phase. Whenever we will discuss in detail the different algorithms, then you will see, inshallah, there's a lot of steps involved in a training, and the training is very important because whenever you will train the system is very much depends upon the sample which is being provided, and the training system with the help of the different parameter which is being provided to the system will give you a significance model, and then you will make use of that model for further processing, maybe testing or whatever you want. But actually the training phase is very much important. That's why the level of training or criteria of training should be very much defined in a machine learning as well. We have different types of training experience. Definitely if training is important, that you cannot define the training in a single way. You have to define some different experiences, how you will perform the training. Sometimes you make use of a direct or indirect training. Direct or indirect training means you are taking the data directly from the system and the system start learning. And this learning is based on the features, structures in which you may use of features, and you are directly providing the feature to the system. This method is called direct training method, in which the feature selection is made by you and you are providing the data to the system. And not only providing the data to the system, you are also defining the feature set as well. That's why whenever your system start learning, it make use of the same data which is providing to the system and the feature which is being provided to the system with the help of some algorithm, then you will be developed. Or indirect method is a vice versa of the phenomena, and normally the indirect method in which you are not directly taking the sample from the environment, you are making use of any database which is already available on internet. You are taking the data from there and then start learning with the help of the different feature which is being provided to you, and you have to select the feature for the training. One of the huge database from which you are normally taking the samples for training is a Kaggle. Kaggle database is also available with the different field of maybe the medical science data, the cognitive science data, and it also categorize the data sets, and you make use of this data set to learn your system. And then after that, make use of that data set, you have to decide what are the significance feature you make use of to actually extract the information or relevant information which may develop a model or a learning model from that particular data set. Second is definitely with or without teacher, means you people are aware of it, supervised and unsupervised learning. Whenever the system knows the output, means you have already know the result should this way. For example, if I'm giving the data to the system and we also define the result will be the particular result we have to achieve. For example, in a Boolean algebra, if we have add 1 plus 0 or 1 0, or you may call it as AND operation, for example, the result will be 0. It means you know the result. Whenever you will multiply and you will perform the AND operation with 1 and 0, your result will be. It means the result is already defined. The system is very much aware of the result. It means system has to be very much learned itself to acquire or to define or to achieve the particular result which is being teached to the system. So in a supervised learning, you're not only providing the data to the system, even you are actually giving the result and output to the system as well. This is another way. And normally the classification algorithms or supervised learning algorithm is based on this type of machine learning phenomena. Without teaching means you do not have any output, you do not have any specific output to achieve. then you have to make use of unsupervised learning algorithm. In an unsupervised learning algorithm, definitely your criteria is different, your nature of problem is be different, your algorithm which you are going to use is different, depends upon the conditions, is changed. It means these are the possible ways through which we can define some training experiences. So this is totally up to you, and based on your problem, what training experience you are going to use in a particular dimension. And it totally depends upon you, because it's very much important in the data type and the application domain in which you are going to apply the machine learning. Because I have already told you machine learning may apply in a different domains. It may go for finance side, it may go for medical science, even there's a lot of avenues are opening for machine learning as well, because the people are switching very fast, especially for cognitive sciences in which the human brain are directly or indirectly involved. Then the machine learning define or provide a very interesting result in this direction. That's why you have to be very much focused on some training experience as well. We have definitely type of training, because I have already discussed with you. If you have a training experience indirectly, then based on that training experience, you may define the types of training. We have three different types of training. Our focus will be on supervised and unsupervised. I've already discussed. In a supervised learning, use a series of label example with direct feedback. It means you know the result, and just you have to make use the, or you have to make all the arrangement to learn the system, or system will for the system to learn